The 8th anniversary LRs have made their return, but which one is worth the 500 red coins? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are taking a look at the Frosty Dokkan Miracle Campaign. This is the more or less the Tanabata banner, right? On Global, we don't call it the Tanabata banner because we don't celebrate that celebration over here. So instead, we have this Christmas Frosty Miracle Dokkan Festival banner, and it has provided us the return of the 8th anniversary LRs, the GT Spirit Bomb Duo and the Z Spirit Bomb Duo, along with the Super Full Power Saiyan 4 Goku, although he's not purchasable with coins. So in today's video, we're going to answer the age-old question: which one is worth your hard-earned red coin? So to answer that, let's first and foremost, let's take a look at the characters themselves. So looking at the GT Duo here, right? They share the same leader skill as the Z Duo in the Power of Wishes. Both 8th anniversary LRs introduced the Power of Wishes. There are also Battle of Fate, category key 3, HP attack and defense 170%. They also get 30% for Final Trump card and Shadow Dragon Saga. While in their base form, they have attack and defense 200% and an additional attack and defense 50% when HP is 50% or more, and an additional key 1 per key sphere obtained, and additional defense 100% as the first attacker in the turn. They also get an additional key 2 per key sphere obtained, and an additional attack 100% as the second or third attacker in the turn. They launch an additional attack that has a great chance to become a super attack when key is 18 or more, and they also launch an additional attack when a super attack when key is 24. They get key 1 and reduction in damage received by 10% up to 50 with each super attack performed. So more, to add on to that, with both of their super attacks, 12 and 18 key, they are stacking attack and defense. Their 18 will greatly stack attack, and their 12 key will stack attack normally. Now they will raise defense for the turn, which is helpful, but not really necessary. Like them not stacking isn't that big of a deal because they are getting that 50% in reduction. And really what you need them for is that attack raise, right? With the attack raise that they're doing every turn, their Spirit Bomb gets more and more powerful. Speaking of their Spirit Bomb, they do have the ability to enter a standby mode when 50% or less starting from the 4th turn, or right away if you enter the fight at 50% or less, or if they receive 4 or more attacks. Once they are in that standby form, they gain 250% attack, they get defense 150%, and then when HP is 50% or more, they give all allies key 8 and attack 80%, and they revive with 100% HP recovered when the ally or the character is KO'd in the same turn. They get an additional attack 30% when the finish effect is activated. Their finish effect is a revival counter, and it KOs it will launch the Spirit Bomb at the enemy who KO'd the character. That KO is extremely powerful because it has a huge multiplier, a 500% multiplier added on to all of the attack raisin that they were doing in their base form. The real big kicker with these guys is this all allies key 8 and attack 80%. Giving their allies 80% support on a turn you're probably going to die anyways is huge. It lets you get out that last bit of attack, before you die. And then when you do die, you're going to launch a really powerful Spirit Bomb. And hey, even if you launch that Spirit Bomb early and you're not doing that much damage, right? Just the tech that he has of being able to revive is huge, right? Most of you guys know entering the Fusion Zamos Red Zone fight, right? Chances are you're entering your second turn below 50% HP, and having a revive to get you to that third turn, possibly being able to deal a little more damage before it happens, is huge, and allows you to progress through that AoE phase just that much faster. So they are definitely a very, very valuable unit and worth your 500 coins. But now the question is, are they worth it over the Z Duo? Well, let's take a look at the Z Duo. They are Power of Wishes, Final Trump card, category key 3, attack defense 170%. They get an additional HP, attack defense 30% for Connected Hope or Majin Buu Saga. These guys get attack defense 200% and an additional 50% attack defense when HP is 50% or more. They get an additional key 1 per key sphere obtained and an additional defense 100% as the first attacker in the turn. As the second attacker of the turn, they get key 2 and, per key sphere and additional attack. Same as the GT Duo. They launch an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when 18. Key launches a guaranteed super attack when 24. And then instead of getting damage reduction per super attack performed, they get a critical hit. Now that critical hit's going to play a role later on. Now, opposite the GT Duo, these guys are stacking defense on their 12 and 18 key, which is very helpful because their starting defense is kind of low, right? They can be kind of scary in those initial turns, but getting into their standby is where they really come into play, right? Their standby is same as the GT Duo, 50% or less, or 4th turn after performing 4 or more attacks. So more or less the same. Now, what makes these guys really good is their standby. In their standby, they can't attack until you activate the finish effect. However, they're getting 250% defense, guarding all attacks, and changing key spheres. They're also reducing damage per key sphere obtained. They're untouchable, right? They're basically invincible for as long as they're on the field, and that's huge. That gives you a free slot 1 wherever they're at. And that's really, really good. Adding on to that, they get an attack 500 when you activate the finish effect. Their finish effect can be activated when you get 39 or more key, which is really easy to do. 2 turns of collecting key, you will easily collect this up. They'll raise attack per key sphere obtained per throughout that. So the longer you let it go, the more you build that attack. To add on to that, they get a 750% multiplier on in addition to that 500% when activating the finish effect. The most powerful active skill in the game, I think, or I guess it's technically a standby, but it is the most powerful, and when you play to it, it can be rewarding. Plus, them being able to act as a slot 1 after falling below 50% for most teams is really, really helpful, especially in some of these fights where the bosses are hitting, you know, over 1 million damage on a super. So very, very helpful to have a unit that can enter a state where they're basically invulnerable, and then after a couple of turns, basically annihilate the enemy. So very, very good. So if you had to pick between the two, I would definitely say they're both valuable. You wouldn't be making a wrong choice if you chose either. But I will say that at 55%, the GT Duo is going to carry you a bit further. They have a little more tech in that revival skill. Not to say that these guys aren't good, but I can tell you from experience, at 55%, lacking that innate those innate additionals and that little bit of extra crit really does hurt them, right? You want that extra crit on their finish skill, and I have noticed that at 55%, which is what mine had, they don't activate it as often, so having that additional critical hit could be helpful by having dupes in them. So I do think that these guys at 55% will take you a bit longer because you'll get more use out of that revive. That isn't to say that either choice is wrong. Really, it's box dependent, right? If you got the GT Duo but didn't get the Z Duo, then go for the Z Duo. That is definitely worth your coins, and vice versa. Now there is something to consider, right? If these guys, don't fit your fancy, you're not a fan of the 8th anniversary LRs, or you're worried there might be something in the future, well, there's really only 2 other major Dokkan Fest LRs that you should be considering outside of these guys for the use of your red coins, and that is the Fusion Zamasu or the AGL Vegito. Both of these characters were the worldwide, and they're likely not returning till global till July. So if you were concerned about that, don't worry. You have time to build your red coins if you choose one of these 2. Looking at the rest of the banner, where is it? Right here. Looking at the rest of this banner, I don't really think there's all that much that's worth your coins outside of these 2, right? That's really what this banner is for. Bring back the 8th anniversary LR so you can purchase them with coins, right? That's You're going to get the most bang for your buck by doing that, right? Trunks and Vegeta have been back and forth plenty of times at this point, and they'll be back in 3 months with Super Full Power Saiyan 4 Goku. So if you are concerned about picking them up, maybe wait till you do your tickets, but I wouldn't say grab these guys over these guys with your 500 coins. None of the other Dokkan Fest LRs or Dokkan Fest units are probably worth your considerations at this point over these guys. So I just wanted to throw that out there if you were considering buying them. Unless, of course, you had every other unit in the game and you were missing one of these guys. Then I guess go right ahead. You wouldn't be hurting nothing if you were missing them. So that is my recommendation. GT Duo, if you are missing both, they'll carry you further, but otherwise just go for whichever one you're missing. You're not wrong, and it's going to be well worth your stones. So with that in mind, let's go ahead, let's transfer over into game here, and let's pick up our copy of who we need to grab with coins. So let's go ahead, let's transition over here. All right, so we are in game now, and we're gonna head on over to the shop here. Oh, that's not the shop. All right, so we're gonna head on over to our red coin shop, and let's see who's available. Should be exactly as expected. Yep, there they are, the GT and the Z Duo. Very nice. And as you can see, no one else really new here. So we're going to go ahead. We are going to grab our copy of the Z Duo because after all, we have ours at 55%. Our GT Duo is at 69%. We want to get them matched up because I would really like to have this dupe in him. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to exchange this. There we go. We have our copy. We are excited, and we're going to go ahead and screenshot that. So there you have it, folks. There is the video. There is my recommendation for who you should pick with your hard-earned red coins. Either Anniversary LR is worth it. Not going to be wrong no matter what you do. Go for what your box needs. But if you are missing both at 55%, the GT Duo will carry you further. So, guys, that is it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, who did you end up picking with your hard-earned red coins? Curious what everybody else went for. So, if nothing else, guys, thanks for watching, and aloha.